Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Tyler Perry's Sistas, episode 6. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. Previously on Tyler Perry's Sistas, we see Hayden limping along, honey, on them crutches. Fatima could give not now piece of a damn, and he is telling her that he ain't gonna end up in a body bag. It's gonna be her. Then we see Danni standing with a knife, and she's like, "How you get in my place?" Now the question here is, how did he know where you live? That's the real question. And then we see Karen tell Aaron that she's pregnant. Now let's get into it. When the episode first opens up, Karen has dropped the bomb and tells Preacher Man that she's pregnant. And he's like, okay. She said, that's all you have to say? He said, so how far along are you? She don't know, honey, because she ain't been to the doctor yet. And that's exactly what she said. She was like, it's still early. I haven't been to the doctor. So he said, okay, so I'm just doing some math. And she said, it's not yours. So, of course, he asked if she was sure, because, honey, that's how Tyler like to do. Are you sure, honey? He stopped her from saying, are you sure? I guess because we called him out too many times on that. She said, it's not. I'm sorry. He said, you think it's Zach's? And she said, it is. But how we know, though? Like, how we just really know? Like, he not even sure, okay? So, I'm just trying to figure out how you know. So he said, isn't it too tight of a window to know? She's like, this is not your baby. Aaron, you about to get ready to piss her off, honey? You're really about to get ready to make her mad. She does not want to hear that this could potentially be your baby, is exactly what everybody else has been stating. She said, I'm sure. He's like, you don't even know how far along you are. That's what we saying. That's all we saying, Aaron. That's it. So, honey, she get ready to put her boot back on because she got a whole attitude because he was sitting there massaging her feet. She wants this to be Zach's baby so bad. So just leave it alone, Aaron. Just please leave it alone. He said, are you actually sure or you just don't want it to be mine? The latter. We'll take the latter for $200, Alex. She does not want this to be your baby, okay? She don't want it to be the son of a preacher man. She wanted to be the son of Zach's, and that's that on that. Moving forward. So she's like, no, I am sure of it. He said, nah, that's just your way of staying connected to Zach. See, she ain't fooling him. Baby, she is not fooling him. I know that's right. He's sick of it. She's like, no, he's moved on. He said he's moved on, but have you? That's the real question, and the answer is no, honey. In every language that you can conceivably say no, the answer is no. She gets upset, and then she's like, stop telling me that I want to hear. I'm telling you this so that you can stop pursuing me. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not. Have you been paying attention? I'm going to love you, and I'm going to love this baby, especially if it's mine. Aaron, you got one more time to say this baby is yours, honey, and she's going to take that wig off. She does not want this baby to be yours. She wants to be a throuple with Fatima and Zach. So she's like, just stop saying that. Oh, my gosh. So Aaron's like, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not trying to upset you. Aaron, please leave her alone. You're too good for Karen. You're too good for Karen in her ways. Like, she wants to run behind Zach forever, so let her. So he's like, I'm not trying to upset you. She said, I'm sorry, I hear you, but he said, I hear you, but I'm not convinced. Neither are we. We are not convinced either. I bet that baby ends up being Aaron's. I bet good money that ends up being his baby. And she's like, well, let's just take some time. Didn't you just take some time and then you called the man because you said you missed him and then you told him that you wanted to tell him something, then you didn't tell him something. He went to work and he said he loved you and you asked him all he showed, and then he came down to Karen's hair mastery and then came back there and massaged your feet, and then you told him that you were pregnant and didn't want to upset him. And girl, look, Karen, you're getting on my nervous system. You really are. Stop stringing this man along. You have been acting a fool with Aaron since y'all shared that ice cream in the parking lot when he first found out his wife was cheating. Please leave Aaron alone. Aaron, let me speak directly to you. Okay, let me speak directly to your character. You need to man up. Stand up, as they say on TikTok. Stand up on your own 2 feet and walk away from Karen. Like, this is getting ridiculous. Karen played too many games. She's like, well, I just think I need to be single for a while and get ready for this baby. He said, you're not over him. She said, no. Okay, well, I'm glad she answered honestly, honey, because I thought she was going to get ready to lie. He said, yeah, and now that he's doing well, that's even more of a reason. She's like, how you know he doing well? Girl, ain't nobody watching Zach but you. Honey, he just knows because everybody can see that Zach is a different Zach. Honey, he ain't walking, he ain't at the bus stop, and he ain't wearing that uniform 24 hours a day. Child, a blind man could see that. So she's telling him to be there for her, but at the same time, she needs some space. Girl, how does that work? My girls hold me down, them boys mess around, and sing. In the next scene, Preston is out there getting a 3rd degree from Pam. Baby, they fussing and fighting back and forth. She told him that he was wearing cow maneuver. He said it's not maneuver, it's manure. She's like, oh, well, aren't you smart? Pam, you do not have to be smart to know it's called manure and not maneuver. Girl. So she all in his business and she getting on his nerves. And Pam is trying to get to the bottom of why Preston is at this salon. And he ain't fooling Pam or nobody else for that matter. Finally, he does admit that he did want Karen to call Danni. Because Karen comes over and she's talking to Preston. And then he admits that he wanted her to call Danni so that Danni could come down there. Child, not Preston playing games. Moving forward. So as he's standing there talking to Karen, he's like, yeah, I want her to see that I can have somebody else. Not you using Miss Moo Boots to make Daniela jealous. First of all, she knows that you can have someone else. She knows that. What you should be concerned about is having to put up with all that comes with Danni. That's what you should be concerned about. He's like, I like Danni. We just don't have nothing in common. Then why are you trying to make her jealous? I'm not understanding. So he's trying to talk to Karen about how he feels about Danni, honey. But Karen always got an attitude. You would have done better talking to Sabrina. You should have went on down to the empty bank, started talking to Sabrina. Sabrina would have been more empathetic. She probably would have called Danni on 3-way, child, on the speakerphone or whatever they got down there at that bank. And y'all could all talked it out. But Karen is not the one. Side note, why is Karen always dressed so soulful? I'm so sick of these shirts and these bell bottoms. We are in 2022. Stop it with these clothes already. Like, it's ridiculous. In the next scene, Andi is at the office with her red bottoms up on the desk, and Fatima comes in and notices her bag. So she's like, that bag cost $5,000. She said, yeah, but I didn't buy it. Fatima said, oh, okay, did Robin? She's like, nope, guess again. Child, she was like, I really don't want to, but was it Gary? Yep, it was old Rockhead Gary. She's like, he bought me this and he bought me this. So then she shows her the double R on her phone, her Rolls Royce, right? And she's like, it's in my name. She said, oh, okay. So we're going to call my friend and sell all this. Okay, call Pookie and them and get all of it hauled off because everybody knows a good booster. Moving forward. So she's like, you sound just like Karen. Well, that was awkward. That was awkward as hell. She said, speaking of Karen, Andi said, what? Fatima said she called Zach's phone and I answered. I accidentally took his because our phones look just alike. So Andi said, girl, not y'all phones look just alike. She was like, no, I promise I accidentally took his phone. So Andi said the Zach that I know kept his phone under the pillow or in his pocket. And the Zach that you knew was also with Karen. It's totally different. She's like, oh, well, he gave me his password. Not Fatima getting the refurbished Zach and casually letting Andi know she ain't Karen. Baby, that is energy right there. So Andi is like, is this the same Zach? Like, I'm confused. She's like, oh, okay, well, that's impressive. Fatima said, he asked me for mine, but I ain't give it to him. Okay, I gave him a fake one. I don't play that. Now, you would cut Zach all the way to hell up if he did that to you. Now, I kind of understand because it's like you don't really want him in your business like that. But girl, if you ain't got nothing to hide, as much as you've been running behind Zach, I'm pretty sure that there ain't nothing in that phone that you don't want him to see. And he done seen you naked, so it can't be the pictures. Girl, goodbye. Moving forward. In the next scene, Gary comes to meet Zach at his new place and brings Jake, not to be confused with Jake from State Farm. Everybody got Zach address, child. I'm like, why are y'all bringing all these people to Zach's address? So he brings Jake and he heads on out. I'm like, Gary, not you dropping off a stranger at this man's home. Child, Tyler will write some foolishness in a minute. It is no way on God's green earth you're going to just bring some stranger to my house and say, all right, well, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Child, please. So Jake is telling him that he does home design, which was so random, and they started talking about the stock. So he told him to keep it because there's a merger happening and it could make him a lot of money. He told him to take down just a little because the stock went up. So apparently the stock has gone up to $2.7 million. $2.7 million. Ooh, baby. Zach is really a millionaire out here. Y'all, he is really a millionaire. Me, I'm too scary, honey. I would take all the money. I would take the whole thing out. I got $1,000 in the stock and I'd be checking it every day, panicking. Charlie had went up to like 1,800 one time. You couldn't tell me nothing, child. You might as well call me Scrooge McDuck, honey. I thought I was rich. Do y'all hear me? I was like, oh, not 18. They trying to stick me for my 18. Child, then I checked again and it had went down to 994. I'm like, not 994. Well, at least it's an even number. Charlie was a whole fool. But anywho, I would have took all my money out because I'm rich, bitch. I'm a real big timer. Shout out to the big timers. Moving forward. So he told him to take out $1 million and leave 1.7 because he could really feel that he's going to make a lot of money. He said, okay, I'll call my bank. He said, if you don't mind, who's your bank? He said, I actually do mind, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you who it is. So he tells them that it's the Empty Bank and Trust, a.k.a. Brookhaven. So he said, okay, well, you might want to put your money in a brokerage. He said, okay, well, let me guess. Y'all, right? He was like, well, I'm not trying to get your business. I'm just saying there are other guys that are good out there, but we are good as well. So I'm just saying you might want to take your money and put it in a brokerage firm. He said, you want me to help you hang some pics up? First of all, why would you go from talking to him about this brokerage firm to do you want me to hang up your pictures? Like, this was just so random. He was like, hang up my pictures. He was like, yeah, I have gym clothes in the car. Okay. Okay, child. Only in a Tyler Perry original. Do y'all hear me? Zach said, you sure are nice. Which one of your parents is white? Boy, goodbye. That was the most random thing ever. Hey, let me give you financial advice, then help you hang your pictures. Tyler, I'm not about to play with you. In the next scene at the airport, El Fuego, he's there. Y'all know I love to say his name like that. El Fuego. So he over there harassing Danny and whatnot. Sir, where are you headed to today? Like, you stay in this airport. I ain't never seen such a traveling stripper in all my life. He must be a hot commodity in these streets. So Danny is giving him a hard time, per usual, just like she did in college. So then the cop shows up and he asked her out for a drink. I'm like, do you want her to be on the force or do you want the force to be with you? Because it's looking like you asking for a date. Baby, Danny's milkshake is bringing all the boys to the yard. Shout out to Khalees. I was like, girl, they all on you. First, El Fuego shows up, then the cop, because he wants dinner. But in true Danny fashion, she said no. So after both of them, then Preston calls. So she tells him that she's going on a date. Honey, two can play that game. Just call her Vivica Fox. I know that's real. So he's telling her he wants to see her so they can talk. And she's like, I thought you said all you had to say. He's like, I didn't. I even took her back there hoping that Karen will call you. Now, why would you admit that to Danny of all people? Don't let her see your weak spots. Because if she thinks you're weak, she'll run over you. Like, come on, Preston. Tyler, tag me in so I can be a sidekick to Preston so I can let him know so Danny can get jealous because he has a female friend and I'm really trying to give him advice for them to stay together. Then me and Danny get into it as we get into it. And now I'm getting into it with Karen because all of a sudden Karen acting like she can nook if she buck, not knowing that she pregnant, and then I end up in jail. It's a whole storyline that can happen. Y'all know how I get when I watch Tyler Perry. I really rewrite his show. I rewrite his whole show. Oh, child. It could be so much, child. It really could be so much. Moving forward. So she agrees to meet him at her house, and child, they're gonna get there together and keep playing these childish games. Moving forward. So Danny gets off the phone. She sits down and calls Karen. So Karen apologizes to her. They talk it out. And I'm like, okay, good. Oh, I kind of miss having girlfriends when I see them interact with each other sometime. But I'm in such peace. I'm good, honey. They betrayed me one too many times. And if y'all have heard my story times, you know exactly why I feel this way. In the next scene, Andi calls Karen and asks her to invite Fatima to her house. She's like, no, I'm not going to do that. She said, well, it concerns her too, so I need her to come. Child, not Karen thinks she doing something, child. No, ma'am. I wish I would be at your pregnancy announcement. I do not want to be at your gender reveal, your birth, your baby shower. Okay, I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm in a relationship with Zach. I don't want to have to sit down and have you tell me like I'm one of your girlfriends, knowing you don't like me. Okay, now I'm going to accept your child and love your child because I'm with the child's father. But as far as me and you, sitting down listening to you announce your pregnancy, no. I mean, I'm going to be cordial and be respectful to you when I see you in passing, but girl, please. So after she gets off the phone with Karen, because she cannot believe that she is inviting Fatima, Andi calls Sabrina, then she calls Danny. Here go, Danny. What you want, girl? I'm trying to walk out this door. Danny, you can still go. It's a mobile phone, which means to move with. Mobile means to move. Mobility means to move. Child, my mama does the same thing. She like, well, I'm going to have to call you back because I'm finna get out the car. I'm like, you can get out the car with the phone, ma'am. But all right, I will talk to you later. So they all get on three-way to figure out why Karen wants them to get together, especially with Fatima. So Andi tells them that she wants Fatima there. So Danni is like, okay, girl, don't you invite that girl. She said, I'm not. I didn't invite her last time, and I'm not inviting her this time. So they figure it's something to do with Zach, and would be. Danni said, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be there with my popcorn. I will see y'all later. They hang up the phone. Fatima comes in the office, and Andi asks her if she can save her an hour for later after work. She's like, sure, I'm wherever you need me. I hate how accessible Fatima is. Girl, you are not a personal assistant, okay? You work at that law firm. When that law firm closes, your office hours are over. Now, I know she like Andi for whatever reason, but I just can't stand the way Andi treats her. I just don't like it. I would have to ask what time, honey. Don't just block off an hour of my night. Honey, you don't know what I'm getting into. Moving forward. In the next scene, Calvin is sitting on the couch sulking about his barroom brawl, thinking Sabrina had already told him, right? So Maurice is going along with it. So Calvin is telling him, and Maurice said, did you get in a fight or did you fall like a ballerina? Oh my goodness. So then he gonna say, I love Swan Lake. Not Swan Lake. Maurice, cut the crap. So he's like, see, this is why I don't tell you nothing. This is why I can't stand you. He's like, well, did you scream? Because last time you screamed. He give him and Sabrina hell. Every time he get with them two, it's a whole fool. But you know what, Tyler? I really want you to write out Maurice's character. I don't want to just see him go from the bank to sitting on that couch. I want to see him do more. I really do. I want to see his character develop. Maybe intertwine him with the guys playing basketball. He ain't going to play no basketball, child. Or maybe he would. I just really want to see him do more on this show. In the next scene, Danni gets home and Preston is there waiting for her. Okay. She's still keeping up with his date facade, and he tells her that he didn't like going out with that other girl. So Danni trying to play all tough. Oh, well, that's tough. Now, you know good and well you are jumping up and down on the inside. Like, I used to play those little stupid games. I don't care. I'm good with that. I used to play all those little I don't care games in my 20s, whole time happy as hell. He's like, I just kept thinking about you. We done been together for a minute. Now it feels funny to be doing something different. Shout out to C Breezy and Bow Weezy. She's like, I know. I knew you weren't going to like her. He said, but you know what? When I was with her, I kept wondering, why is this so easy and it's not that easy with us? She said, that's because y'all got a lot in common. Y'all really do. Y'all have a lot of things in common. He said, I know, but isn't love enough? I told y'all he loved Danni, old mean, childish behind. Didn't I tell y'all last review? She's like, oh, you love me now. He said, I told you that. She said, when? She said, I love having you around. I loved having you here back then. But I'm just trying to live my life. He said, if you don't care, then why did you come to the salon? That's what we all trying to figure out. You tell her, Preston. She said, I never said I didn't care. He said, well, you just act like it. She said, you still don't understand me. He said, teach me, baby. Teach me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Shout out to Music Soul Child. I know that's right, baby. He said, teach me. I could jump through this TV and slap Danni's wig off. He love you, girl. He is asking you to teach him. Teach him exactly what it is that he's doing wrong. She's like, I recall trying and you called BS. Because it was. It was all of a sudden you had an attitude and was all up in arms about something that you shouldn't have been up in arms about because you were cooperating at the time. You were a willing participant. Girl, goodbye. She's like, I tried to do that. No, you tried it. He said, no, what you've been doing is talking at me. I'm asking you to take me by the hand and show me. Baby. Preston, grab my hand through this review. I'll show you. Baby. He said, I'm asking you to grab my hand. See, this is what I'm saying. All this different mess that Danni's doing, she gonna be pissed if he really does move on. So she grabs his hand and I'm thinking she really about to, soften up. She's like, you're a grown man. And when are you going to take responsibility for yourself? He's like, if you cared, you would. So then Danni starts talking about being a black woman with the weight of the world on her shoulders and she got to work and she got to birth the babies and feed the babies. I don't know what she was talking about. But then she gets up and says she has to get ready to go. He's like, so you want me to leave? She said, you went on your date, didn't you? Now it's time for me to go on mine. Preston, leave Danni the hell alone. Leave Danni vape pen smoking confused self with the hobosexual stripper that she wants to be with. If she wants a hobo that travels from here, there, and everywhere and ain't got no place to lay his head down, then let her have him, okay? Or the cop that's chasing her all up and through. Just let her have him, okay? We say we want men to be vulnerable, but then when they are, they're met with a Danni. She gonna end up just like Karen with a wig full of regret. Just keep it up, Danni. Just keep it up. Moving forward. In the next scene, Fatima shows up to Zach's house and she gives him his phone back and she's like, so who is Keisha? He said, Keisha work at the bank. So they going back and forth for a little minute. Whole time, Jake just standing there. He said, but I got 2 phones. But meet Jake. Let me tell y'all something. When he introduced him as Jake, all I could think about was that commercial when the lady came down the stairs and the man was on the phone and she was like, who are you talking to? He said, it's Jake. Jake from State Farm. What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm? That's all I could think about when I saw this man get introduced as Jake. Child was a whole fool. So they went on for about 5 minutes before he even got introduced to her. I'm like, not y'all gonna be rude and just continue to talk. I'm surprised Fatima didn't say, and who is he? Like something. But y'all, anywho, they got introduced. So Zach is explaining how he knows Jake and how he met him through Gary. And Fatima was looking like, Gary? Gary with the square head and the square shoulders? That Gary? The one that stalks Andi. That Gary. Yep, that Gary girl. That's the one. In the next scene, Karen calls Andi to tell her that she's on the way. So Andi is like, well, I'm not inviting Fatima. You don't like her. She's like, just invite her. She said, I'm not inviting her. Y'all both have firearms. Like, why would I do that? She's like, no, I really do need for you to invite her. Like, Andi, please, just do it. So she was like, you know what? Okay. I will invite her. So then they randomly talk about Gary's wife and her rubber bullets and what's going on with the lawsuit of it all. And Andi says she's going to take care of it. Karen convinces her to call Fatima. Karen thinks she about to drop a bomb. And Fatima already know. I cannot wait to see the look on her face when Fatima goes, oh, I know. And I'm fine with it. Baby gonna bust her little bell bottoms. Do y'all hear me? Moving forward. In the next scene, Andi is on her way inside and Gary calls and she's like, what? What do you want? Do I need to change my number? Girl, please. 5 minutes later, the cop singing, that was kind of cute. Oh, you know what I like? Girl, shut up. Something is wrong with Andi. It's something really wrong with her. She's like, are you tracking me? He said, no, I know you. You like that. I know you like that kind of stuff. She's like, well... yeah, I gotta go. I just really gotta go. He's like, can I come by? I want to see you. She's like, no. He said, well, I just really want to see you. She said, no, I have to go. Goodbye. Let me just remind y'all of this. I wouldn't trust Gary as far as I can see him, especially after he showed up at that house and bruised her ribs by hugging her so tight and refusing to let go, then got in that car and acted like he was going to commit some kind of something. Okay, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. When you just do your own thing and unalive yourself. And then Aaron and Gary were actually in this men's group together. But the fact that he bruised her ribs by hugging her, why Tyler act like we forgot that? Tyler, let's get rid of Gary, okay? It's giving toxicity and it's giving scary because he's not allowing her to move on, even though she is sending him mixed signals and whatnot. So she walks in her place and it is completely cleaned out. So now she owns a deluxe apartment in the sky. Honey, she moving on up. Shout out to George and Wheezy. This is not cute. It's not cute. It's not sweet to me. It's scary. It's aggressive. I don't like it. Like, he's not taking no for an answer. I hate the way Tyler writes these men and just continue to be so forthcoming when you tell them no. Like, I don't like that. But Andi helps him by giving him hope. I would give him nothing. And the fact that my apartment is empty and you came while I was at work and moved all of my stuff, even my unmentionables, to a now another apartment. Child, I would be scared as hell, but that's just me. And that was the end of the episode. Sorry about skipping last week, y'all. I had some things going on. Y'all know I'm trying to give y'all content on top of content on top of content. So maybe sometimes I fall a little short. Charge it to my head and not my heart. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all tell me exactly what y'all thought about this episode. Gary clearing out this apartment. Karen thinking she about to drop a bomb and ain't about to drop nothing. Danny still giving Preston a hard time. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what y'all thought about that. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.